Hello viewers, 4DIYers here with another video for everyone. Due to this being a popular request over the last year from my first rust-proofing video using the wax and oil hybrid spray, here you'll get a follow-up of the spray for this year. In this video I'll be showing you the second application for the rust inhibiting coating on my Dodge Ram, and you can see how the original application is holding up too. If you're living in a climate which experiences snowy winters and has salt applied to the roads, this is by far the best method for protecting your vehicle. This time around I'll be using an oil-based coating. Last year I used a wax and oil hybrid coating, and that was something I'd recommend on a clean frame, especially if you have a new vehicle, as the wax will provide a strong base. If your frame has more rust, you can clean it up, and I do have a video for that as well. I did clean up some mild rusting on the Dodge Ram, just small spots that were starting, but overall it's very clean from what it's been exposed to. I'm doing this on a cooler day, but I'll show you how to work around that, but I typically recommend applying this in warmer weather as it'll creep better into the surface, getting into those cracks and crevices. I'm using the same type of applicator gun as last year. It has a pressurized tank and comes with different attachments to get in behind body panels, inside the frame, work around tight areas, and even has a fan spray for large areas. This can get messy, so it's important to have rubber gloves and paper towels on hand. Each product will have its own instructions. I'm only using this product as it was on sale and available at my local auto parts store. Ensure it's mixed, so shake up the container. For this Dodge Ram, I use the whole 3.78 liters or 1 US gallon. The required amount depends on the size of vehicle along with how many areas it's being applied to. Fill up the container, not to the top as we need to make room for the pickup tube so it can display some of the coating. Install the container and tighten. This is pressurized. Then place the container in a bucket of hot water. This will overcome the cooler weather. Today, with the minimum required temperature for applying the product, allow it to soak for about 10 minutes. I'm using the same small pancake air compressors last year. While it does run often, it does keep up. I set the regulator to about 75 psi but bumped it up after to about 85 due to the cooler weather. Do not exceed the maximum pressure of the applicator gun. Make sure you have the vehicle parked in the area where you don't want staining. While this is a no-drip coating, there's still a chance of drips and overspray. Safety glasses and a mask are also recommended. I have already given the underside a brief wash at the local car wash to remove any road debris, but without any cleaners as I didn't want to remove any coating from last year. With this being a fully boxed frame, I'll start with the inside of the frame first, start at the front and work my way back. The wand I'm using here has a 360-degree spray to provide an even coating inside enclosed areas. Find any factory-made holes inside the frame, push the wand fully inside, press the trigger to dispense the spray, and slowly pull it out at the same time. Feed rates will depend on how much product is being applied, along with the air pressure. There is a volume control setting on the applicator gun. If you have a series of holes, as long as you're able to reach each application point, this will ensure you're not missing any spots inside the frame. If you're working with the same hole, apply it ahead, then reinstall and apply it behind the hole, but this will depend on access points. You'll need to do this the full length of the frame. While I'm under the midsection, I also applied it to the rocker panels. For this Dodge, I did borescope the rockers and they are divided inside so they have an inner and outer cavity. It's easier to spray the inner cavity from the underneath, and the outer cavity can be accessed easier from the drilled holes, which I'll show you in a moment. It's great to know common rust points of your vehicle too. These are key areas where the rust inhibiting coating should be applied. For this truck, on the body panels, this would be the rockers, cab corners, bottom of the doors, and rear fenders. Other areas which can be known for rust, but isn't as severe, can be the tailgate, front fenders, and box floor. Finally is the rear of the frame. Doing the cavity areas first makes the application process for yourself a little cleaner. If you were to spray the outside first and then the inner cavity parts after, you do risk rubbing up against those freshly coated surfaces. Behind the rear fenders can be a bit awkward, but I did manage to go up from the underside of the truck using the wand. I do have a small amount of rust forming on the rear passenger side fender. This is a 2006 truck. While it has been painted, no panels have been patched or replaced. Next was the driver's side, again doing the exact same process. If your vehicle has plastic guards protecting the floor, it may be easier to remove them to gain access to everything. If your vehicle is lower, then I'd recommend using ramps too, and you may want to split up the front and rear with the ramps to make it easier. Now is the outer cavity for the rockers. Someone has pre-drilled holes in the rockers as shown by the black caps, and this can be done to your vehicle too. A step drill is recommended for such a job as it does make cleaner holes in body panels, and you can purchase caps to plug up the holes after. Here's a great example of using the same hole to work ahead and behind, making sure the inside is fully coated. Once done, then reinstall the cap. Next step is the doors. These have been pre-drilled, but the drains behind the gaskets are big enough where I can slide in the cavity hose. The spray should be directed at the bottom of the door and partially up the sides, just where the water may drain inside. Don't go too far up where you're spraying the window regulator assembly or behind the speakers. Drains may vary between vehicles. Typically there is one at the front and the rear of the door. On this vehicle, they're hidden behind the door gasket. Do the same for the driver's side as well. Make sure the drains aren't plugged with debris, which may prevent the water from draining. I did cover this in another video. Debris from the trees can fall inside the door, and this will hold moisture and plug up the drains, preventing the water from draining and eventually rotting out the bottom of the door. You'll want to continue this for the other doors if equipped. Moving on to the rear of the vehicle. For this truck it would be the tailgate. On other vehicles this may be the trunk or hatch. The tailgate does have pre-drilled holes as well, but for the most part you can work with the factory holes. A 360-degree nozzle is used here too, and a mist is sprayed throughout the inside. Under the hood, spray within any structural members and tube cavities, in the fender cavity between the inner and outer fenders, radiator support, structural tube in behind the bumper, within the hood structure, etc. Areas will vary between vehicles and how they're designed. In my previous video I did remove the lights, and you can do the same as well. This will help access in behind those panels. You'll most likely get overspray on the paint. This can be washed off when done. For the last step, this is the full outer coating of the underside of the vehicle. There is a couple different attachments that can be used, such as the spray tip and the 90-degree wand spray, which I prefer to use. The spray tip would be better if you have your vehicle elevated. The 90-degree tip allows me to get into those tight areas, around corners, and even provides a great overall surface mist. Areas to watch out for where the coating should not be applied directly to. This includes the exhaust, rubber components, engine drive belts, tires, and brakes. I found it's easiest to apply the spray coating at the center and work my way out. This will be the same for each side of the vehicle. Spray on the outside of the frame, cross members, brackets, underside of the floor, backside of the rocker structure, trailer hitch, inside the steel inner fenders, etc. The coating can even be applied to the backside of metal bumpers. Take your time ensuring all the areas are covered. As mentioned earlier, this vehicle can be washed to remove any overspray on the paint. Depending on which brand of coating you use, they may require a dry time or cannot get wet for a certain number of hours. It's always important to refer to the product's instructions first. A question I was asked recently: should aluminum panels be sprayed? Aluminum panels do corrode and will deteriorate like rust, so yes, it would be a good idea to apply a wax or oil spray coating to the aluminum panels just as a form of protection. New videos are released every week on my channel. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. It's a huge help to me, and leave a comment below if you found this tutorial helpful. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to also hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.